Welcome to Xbox Voice of the Xbox community.
Dustin!
I know, but listen, hear me out. I think
Okay.
80 is the you can do whatever you want age because you've lived so long. You can just tell people to fuck off.
Tim Dog!
I finally finished Ori, which took me 36 hours, 1,338 minutes.
Jason!
The most important part of this is boobs. Much about it. It's the only way you're gonna tell someone in a thick racing suit's a woman.
It would have been perfect with the new layout too, huh? Because then you could have just gotten rid of the Xbox Uncut logo.
The Demon!
Yeah, that was on Xbox, and the only way as a PlayStation fan that you can be happy about that is because you're happy that Xbox fans don't get to play it.
Steve Rules.
South Park: The Fractured But Whole. Horizon.
Wait a
Zero
second.
Dawn.
We gotta enjoy that title for a
It's
minute.
so good in the end, your accent too. The fractured but oh.
Fraction, but
I don't sound like that.
welcome to Xbox Uncut's 101st episode of Xbox Live on Twitch.tv, your favorite YouTube channel, and all around the internet. We're in our new little setup, and we're here to try not to screw this up. We all have audio, which is nice. You know, it's different from last week where we had to do 2 takes, but the week before. But we're doing it. Feeling good about this episode. Today, cool new intro. Thanks to One Saint. Follow him at X1SaintX. Let him know what you think of the intro music. I like it a lot. It's awesome. And without a doubt, Tim, I kept saying Steve, but I think you have the best line in that whole thing. It's just amazing. But let's introduce the panelists this week. We have Tim Dog. Welcome to the show, Tim. Mr. Punctual himself. We have Steve Rules on the show. It's Steve Rules. SteveRules.com. And as always, the one and only Vern. The Golden Throat. The Golden Lisp. Yeah. You're learning to talk through it. Yeah. Well, we're not there yet. He's not hearing any audio at all? Ooh. Let me see what's going on, guys. I see. I see why.
Still recorded.
Hit the mute. Take you off, Dustin.
Mickey Worm in chat writes, dudes, I get why Vern is muted, but come on, I want to hear Tim and Steve.
Alright, I fixed it. I figured out it was a Skype setting that I had messed up.
F you too, Mickey.
I'm going to be honest. I've been trying to figure out how to get all these things to function together so that everybody can hear the music and we can do this, and it's been a nightmare.
Makes the show more fun, though.
It
Gives us
does,
some flavor.
but the only people that are going to hear the beginning of this show are going to be the people.
Yeah, but they get to understand our
audio.
struggles, and they grow with us.
Yes,
The listeners. It's awesome.
they do grow with us. They do. But
Mhm.
everybody should have everybody's audio now. I'd like to thank One Saint so much for doing that awesome music for us again. We appreciate it. And he said, his words, not mine. I cannot guarantee this because we have not... I don't have the talent to do it, to be honest, or the time to update it weekly. But he said he plans to update it weekly.
That's a lot of work, but if he can keep that up, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That was good, although, you know, I don't think that there's anything about how I say the fractured butthole that's particularly noteworthy, you know.
I think it is.
I
think it
sounds good to us.
I
Oh
think-
no! Okay, the video's back.
No, it's really good, though.
Yeah.
I was just
Mickey
fixing
Worm
the expert.
asks, "Does Tim wear pants?"
It's unconfirmed. You don't want to. You
No,
don't want
wait
to
a
ask
second.
him to find out.
Wait a second. Do shorts count though? Like, are you just rocking some like gym shorts right now?
I come home from work and I just take off my pants and put on shorts. So
See?
if you're
There you
really
go.
interested,
So Tim wears shorts.
Yeah.
Now
you
we
don't
know
like-
Steve.
I do wear pants.
Yeah,
Yes.
we know Steve doesn't though, right?
No, I mean, I'm just here sort of start naked, and you know
Right.
that's how I roll.
Yeah,
Look,
we
most
decided
people
that's
don't
why you don't
realize
have a video camera.
I
Steve
apologize to anyone
actually
who's
lives in a
eating and
nudist
now has
colony.
this image. By the way,
That's gonna be part of new Steve lore, as he's part of a nudist colony, and this is how he rolls. Respect Steve, people.
this could be part of my origin story.
Yes. The Steve origin story.
Oh, I like this one. Possum Meat says Steve doesn't use a cam because he is so handsome. It would be distracting.
I'm commando right now, right?
Yeah, we got some good chat going here. Got some great chat going here.
Well, I'd like to apologize again for no audio for a third podcast in a row for the video listeners. But for the audio listeners, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I think this is a trend now, Dustin.
Yeah, it is a trend. Well, I've only done it twice, so it's not technically a trend. Jason did it once, though, so...
But for the show, it's a trend.
Yeah, but not for me
Not-
yet.
not for you
I got
personally,
I
no.
got it next week to fix this.
Right.
Oh my god. I don't even have anything up. So let's move on to letters. Because
Letters,
we got
okay.
a letter this week. We did.
We got one. We
We
did.
got one.
From this is from Paul, gamertag Obi Wang 1975. He's actually written into us quite a few times. So he says, "Hey guys, thought show 100 was excellent. Well done again for reaching that milestone. Just thought I'd write to say how much I'm looking forward to the last half of this year. With the amount of exclusives and the return of some massive franchises, Forza 6, Tomb Raider, Gears of War, Halo 5, Fable, and multiplat such as Fallout, Star Wars Battlefront, and FIFA. I'm going to have to take 6 months off just to play them. Then on top of all that, we have backwards compatibility. ... I mean, ... Game over, man. ... Game over. ... Anyways, best podcast ever. Keep up the good work. Take it easy. Paul. P.S. Where's the merchandise? I want an Xbox t-shirt.
It's a good idea.
Smiley emoji, thumbs up emoji, sent from my Windows phone because you are just too cool.
Too cool for school.
Real
All right,
deal.
well, I guess I'll go ahead and say I went to like District Line or whatever. I checked out Kinda Funny's page for where they do their merch, and I found how they do their stuff. And I'm gonna try to rip off their website, and well, it's not ripping off. It's like every YouTuber goes to the site to sell their merchandise, and they do all the shirts. So I applied. I'm waiting for an email back to see if they'll allow us to have a store to do custom shirts. I know Vern and me both want like awesome Gamescom Xbox shirts. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that'd be badass to have an Xbox shirt for Gamescom. Because I'm planning on taking that day off, so hopefully we can stream again like E3. That'd be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I would like to have a custom shirt or two, or a hood. Like I want to. I'm not expecting Gamescom. Hopefully we can have something by Gamescom. If we can, it'll be freaking awesome. If we can't, I'm telling you, I want a hoodie with our logo on it. I think that'd be awesome. That's what
That'd be
I want.
badass too.
Yeah.
I'll take anything, but a fractured butthole.
Yeah, fractured butthole is just can't deal with it. Can't deal with it. All right, where?
So other things in the letter, though.
Anything? Yeah.
Uh,
What
Well,
else
thank
going on?
you for telling us that. Well, for congratulating us for reaching our 100 show milestone. It's very nice to hear that.
Here's to 100 more.
Yeah, I want 200 more.
Speak for yourself. I mean, yes.
And then also, as far as all the cool games coming up, yeah, we're right there with you. And backwards compatibility, yep, right there with you again. So, yeah, all good stuff. Very excited about it. Hoping to hear more at Gamescom. So,
Yeah,
I had to make
hopefully
like
for-
a big spreadsheet to keep track of everything that I wanted to buy, so that nothing, sort of sprung on me at the last minute. There's so much you got to keep track of it.
I mean, besides the Microsoft stuff, though, there's not a whole lot of third-party stuff I'm gonna buy right away. Because I mean, the EA Access helps a lot with getting to just try out the games and see if I definitely want to buy them. Like Battlefront, I'm gonna test it out, see if I really want it. I probably won't get it just because Warzone will probably take a lot of my time, and it'll be a similar type of game.
Mm.
But
All right,
I mean,
Steve,
I think
I'm
I'm just gonna
sorry.
stay away from those big franchises this year, like
I-
Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. So
I gotta see if I can make a deal, Steve. Steve, can we sell your boxers exclusively for the show? The Steve Rules boxers.
What you mean? Do you want me to send you some?
No.
Yeah,
No, I'm just saying if we can start selling them through the store, I'm just gonna have boxers that say Steve Rules across the back of them.
Why the back?
I don't know, front, back.
I think they should say Steve
Steve
Rules
on
on the
the-
front and the fractured butthole on the back.
Yeah.
No.
That's
Right?
a lot of work.
Oh no.
No, this is going down a wrong path.
No, I need to start. I need to
Just
start.
get like a
trading.
little Steve Rules on like this part, like
Like
the
Steve
lower
Rules
part.
boxers, just like right around, like
No,
right down
nothing
the
too
seam on
crazy.
the
No,
side,
but they could be
it
like
says
Steve Rules would be vertical across the front,
No,
of the box.
I need
this
to.
is too weird.
I need to start trademarking, registering Steve Rules so that I can block this legally.
And then the fractured butthole inside
No.
inside the B could be, because that'll be toward the center,
Look, all
would
I'm
be the
saying
butthole. You see?
is,
Oh,
is
is-
the
is
burn
it-
crotchless panties that are coming out are going to be amazing.
I feel. I've just
You
realised.
feel violated right now?
I've just realised something, and I can't believe I never actually got it in the first place.
That you don't know.
I
the
just
trademark for
realised.
this?
The fractured butthole.
Wait, you didn't get that joke?
No, I didn't.
That was the joke.
Ah, no.
Oh, you crazy British people, you.
Yeah, I'm too innocent. That's what it
Mhm.
is. You Americans,
Exactly. We're dirty,
dirty minds.
Pasta Meat
Lead-
says in
leading
Japan
me
they sell
astray.
used Steve Rules boxers and vending machines. I believe that.
Not RULEZ though. I'm sure, not the Z.
No, I'm licensed in Japan. They love me over there. They
Okay.
need to get Xbox to be Steve Rules branded, and then it will be flying off shelves.
I think so. But anyway, to get back to our letter, are you guys excited about all these games coming, and what's the plan?
Yes.
I'm getting all of them.
Yeah.
Buy as many as I can. There's a lot.
Well,
Yeah,
There's
there's-
a lot of money going out. Like look, I'm buying a fucking Elite controller. That's happening. I
Yes.
want that.
Yeah.
I
controller.
got mine pre-ordered already, man.
But here's the thing: an Elite controller is $150, and I try not to spend over like $1,000 on myself in Christmas. And with the amount of games coming, it's going to be tough. It's going to be
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, but I mean, really, when you think about third-party stuff, do you really want to buy Metal Gear Solid Day 1, Battlefront Day 1,
Oh, Metal Gear. that
Battlefront,
sounds really
yes.
cool.
I'm
No,
getting
no.
it day one. The
COD?
Van, did
No,
you
no,
just
I
ask
won't
me
buy
if I want to buy Metal Gear Day
Creed.
1? Did you just ask
Yeah.
me that? Oh, no, Van, this is...
I don't care about it.
You're a bad person, Van.
But Mad Max, I'm probably gonna get that Day 1. That looks badass.
No.
I'm gonna be the idiot choosing Mad Max over Metal Gear Solid when they come out at the same time.
When they get like 100 sales that month on MVD, you'll know that
I'll be one of them. I'll be one of them.
You'll
He'll
probably
be
be
one out of
100.
100. He'll be so happy.
Mad
I mean-
Max does look good though.
I think so too, man.
I saw
That's-
it.
That's
It
right
looks
up my
good.
alley.
I mean, yeah, third party wise, there's not actually too much. It's
And then
pretty
Fallout,
much
for sure.
it's pretty much Metal Gear, and I need to play Fallout 3 first, but I've got Fallout
You know,
4
there's an
ordered.
easy way to look up the list of the fall third-party lineup. Just bring up Sony's PlayStation 4.
Yeah, but then, I mean,
games.
there's 3 big third-party games this holiday, and that's Metal Gear, Battlefront, and Fallout. So
What about Call of Duty, one of the biggest franchises of all time?
yeah, but that's every year, The other 3 games, those are the event games that don't come every year,
Yeah.
So
I was quite interested in Battleborn after I read some stuff about it, and then I went and watched a video. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get that.
yeah, not my alley. I don't know if we have it in the news, but what's his name? Who is the creative director on
Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls? Yeah, he moved to 2K, so I'm sorry, not 2K, to Gearbox. So
Get hyped for Borderlands 3.
or Borderlands Online.
Oh God, where's the knife? It just.
Dude, I'd be all about a Borderlands MMO, man. Like I can't lie. I like Borderlands. I like MMOs. I'll buy it.
You're a bad man, man.
I want a Mass Effect MMO. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
Look, it's till this day, there's only one MMO I'll ever want to truly play, and that's a Cowboy Bebop MMO where you play as a
Oh, as a bounty
either
hunter? Yeah, that'd
bounty
be
hunter,
badass.
or you play as a robber or whatever, a thief, or you work your way up. That'd be so fucking awesome. You just have both sides going at it, and throughout the solar system. And you could go to planets that have hubs that you actually have teams of like 4 or 5 people. Maybe a game like that that has a story to it. I'm not mentioning any games in particular. Maybe.
But anyway, that's all our letters.
So
I don't know
please
why we're
write
only
us.
getting 1. We should have at least 3 a week. So if you're in chat, if you're listening, write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. It exists. Write to us. Ask us about anything. It doesn't have to be video games. I always say this, it can be about your relationships. If you need some advice, I'm here for you.
It could be about how Superman, the Man of Steel movie was a good movie in Vern.
It's true. It's true. It's not a good movie, but if you
It's
think
a
it's a
great
good movie
movie.
and you want to tell me, let me know. I will read it.
Yeah.
Then Vern will try to tell you how you're wrong. Then I'll tell you how you're completely correct.
But I'll thank you for writing.
I'm Team Vern on this one.
Team Vern, such a sad
So yeah,
state.
video games,
Such a sad
movies,
state.
relationships.
Anything. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, if you're like, if you
Viagra,
just binged
pills.
on a whole king cake and you feel bad but you feel fat, let us know.
You know what? You're starting a new diet and you just tried out Xbox Fitness. Let us know what you think of it.
Yeah, do that
whatever.
too,
I don't.
man.
I don't care. Write us. But when you're not writing us, listen to
If you're
us.
celebrating and you're gonna get a gay wedding, write us. Let us know. That's cool, man.
Yeah. Love wins. Love
Does. Did you see I like the new NeoGAF logo. That was pretty cool. They did
wins.
that.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
America.
America.
Europe.
Yeah, I don't care that you guys did it like a long time ago or something.
At
We
least
did it now.
didn't-
It counts.
Never mind. I'm not going to go there.
Eventually. Eventually.
Look, y'all spawned FIFA, the organization, which undoes
It's-
any good thing you've ever done. Okay.
It's true. It's true.
Look, England gave the world football, and everyone spat in our faces. That's what I've got to say.
You're also assholes to everyone in history for like a really, really long time.
Yeah, because we're better than all of you.
I mean, we're continuing the
wait a
tradition
second,
here in
wait
the
a
United
second.
States, but
Look, Great Britain had 2 prison colonies that it sent people to, or that are now way better countries than it originally was.
Don't ever tell me that Australia is a better country than Australia.
Australia
we've
and the
got-
United States are both prison colonies, and we're
We've
both
got-
better.
there's a big. I won't bore you with the details, but there's a big cricket thing coming up soon. Anybody who mentions Australians in a positive light, we got problems.
Well,
You know,
we
this
got
is
problems
intense.
'cause I'm
I'm getting,
American anyway.
I've got the war paint on and everything.
All right, guys, let's move on from sports to games because we got games to talk about. We got stuff like
Tell us the
Xbox
news.
Live, Xbox Live Games with Gold for July features Assassin's Creed, Gears of War, Black Flag, Plants vs. Zombie, and So Many Me are the games coming up.
And
And
it's 2 games for Xbox One and 2 games for Xbox 360 every month now.
Yep.
New games.
new games.
Which is great news. I'm very excited. I know Van's
No,
very excited about
This
this.
is a bad
Um,
thing. It's a bad thing because I need to know what they mean by new.
They mean
Because-
games that weren't there last month. There's going to be different ones.
Basically, it means that if Pool Nation is ever on Games with Gold again,
We riot, yes.
riot.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Right.
a game me and Vern have been waiting to come to Xbox Live Games with Gold so we can do a whole episode on it.
The Zoo Tycoon,
Zoo
yes.
Tycoon. One day.
Uh,
We'll get our wish.
No, that's the plan. If it ever hits Games with Gold, we all have to play it, and the entire episode will be dedicated to Zoo Tycoon and our co-op experience.
Yes. We're going to have a zoo. Together.
It's packed.
Tim's
no.
down. I can see it in Tim's face right now. Tim's like, Zoo Tycoon.
Now the problem is, I'm just gonna have all bears at my zoo. So
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
One giant bear exhibit. Site zoo.
Well, it's not
Already?
even one giant. There's tons of different bears in that game.
Have any of you ever played this Zoo Tycoon?
Yes, I have.
I have.
actually.
Yeah. I
It's,
have.
it's okay. It's not bad. It's not great.
It's I mean,
It's
for
okay.
for someone who loves micromanaging and managing things like that on a larger scale,
It's depressing for that person. Yes.
it is. But it does look very, very nice.
Well, we do have Viva Pinata.
It's better with Connect.
Beta with Connect.
Yeah, we do Viva Pinata co-op. We could do that right now.
Look,
Shouldn't,
we could.
but
We,
we
we
could.
should stop this podcast right now. Let's hold up. I got like $2 billion in Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise, okay? I can set you up. Alright? I can get you all the different pinatas, all the amazing things. The Galagugu, I mean, it's my favorite pinata. He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a night owl just like myself.
I don't know if we're going to talk about it in the podcast. Did you plan on talking about the podcast with Peter Moore and
Yeah, at the very end.
all that?
I wanted to...
Oh, okay. Well, there was a funny part about Viva Pinata there, and and Phil Spencer was critical of the game. He says that what they never could figure out was what they messed up with
the
was that
worms.
you name your worms, but then you have to use them to lure the birds in. So you name the worms, and then they get eaten. You know.
You gotta explain the circle of life
Yeah,
to a
it's a really
child
funny
about
portion.
pinatas. It's like, it's just a pinata. It's not really an animal.
You
But
try
you know what?
telling that to like a 4-year-old who's
But
like
this is
got
the
really
thing.
attached to this worm.
This is the thing. Look, I want you to understand this, Steve. Viva Pinata has a bunch of... when you hit a pinata and it breaks in Viva Pinata, or if an animal eats another pinata, children yell in joy. So, that helps you out. That gives you like some leeway.
It's a pretty sick game when you get down to it. You know.
Oh no, I mean, like, it's literally, I'm
Damn
gonna mate
British.
these two same worms, and then the mother, and it's just, it doesn't, it's bad. It's bad. It's kind of like Fallout Shelter. I feel the same way about that. You just keep mating the same, like, group of people, and it's like, yeah, they're all inbred at this point. I mean, there's just no helping it. Like, I needed more people, so,
You gotta keep the human race going, though, man.
yeah.
You know.
You know, it's supposed to
So Game of Thrones teaches us that incest is, you know.
Okay.
Fine, it's
Good.
fine.
it's fine. No, we don't condone incest here at Xbox.
No, you've got to be open-minded. You've got to be open-minded. You know, let's not Let's not judge anybody. If that's what you're into, that's fine.
Actually, I don't agree with it, and there's problems.
We
You
know
should-
why Steve doesn't have a video camera then.
I'm just throwing it out there. You shouldn't do that, and if you are, please seek help. Okay?
Yes, do.
There are actual bad mental complications with that. Don't do it. It's bad.
Don't do incest. I
Yeah.
agree.
Good time to mention that. Thankfully, I do not have a sister.
But you have a brother.
No,
He said
fair
have,
enough.
not had. See it now.
This is
Okay.
some show already. Anybody who just came in to listen to this show,
Just
not
terrible.
sure what the hell's
Terrible.
going on.
Back to Games with Gold.
Oh, we're still talking about Games Gold.
Fraction.
Over the summer, Castle Crashers remastered EA Games with Gold as part of Summer Spotlight, probably for August. There
Say
you
that
go.
again.
It could
I
be.
reckon Castle Crashers Remastered will be on Games with Gold, probably for August.
I
Oh,
think.
that'll be cool.
I wonder what's going to kick it off. I assume the Ultimate Game Sale that's coming up. Once
July
that's
7th?
over, once that's over, I think that's when the next, when the summer spotlight will probably start. That's my guess. But these 4 games. I mean, they're really good. I mean, you got Plants vs Zombies, which I've actually never played the original Plants vs Zombies on 360 or on a phone or anything. I mean, it looks like a fun little game. I might actually give it a shot if it comes to backwards compatibility.
Hmm.
Yeah. Gears of War 3, that's a huge one to have on there. That's
Well, I
probably the
think
best one on there.
Yeah, I don't
They've
have to put
already
in a disc.
talked about. Sorry, Dustin.
I was gonna say I don't have to put in a disc. I own the disc, but now I'm just gonna be able to play it. It's gonna be awesome. I'm happy.
I already own each Gears game twice, so
No, I own them multiple times. I have multiple copies of Gears like in arm's reach. But now I'm not gonna have to put in a disc in my Xbox One. It'll just load
Mm-hmm.
when I go to play.
That'll help the
with my
community
friends.
for Gears 3 a lot, I think, too. If they can get it
Yeah.
on backwards compatibility, especially.
yeah. I think the important thing when looking at what they've said in the last sort of 2-3 weeks about backwards compatibility and Games with Gold, like I think we can obviously they've already said they're all in on first party stuff, so Gears is going to come at some point. But looking at Plants vs Zombies, and you think, yeah, okay, I'm at this point I'm expecting them to pick games that I will get to
Run
play.
well.
Yeah. So
That'd be cool if Shadow Complex eventually comes as a Games with Gold game. I haven't played that, and I'd really like to. So.
it's good. It's good.
And then, for Xbox One, it's we said Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which a lot of people really like, but a lot of people already
good
have
game.
it. And then,
Yeah, 'cause they bought for like £2.
and then So Many Me, that actually got really good reviews on Steam, I noticed. So, I'm
is it?
interested in. It's a puzzle platformer, right? I believe, where you have like clones of yourself, and you use your clones, to figure out puzzles and stuff. So you might lose multiple amounts of clones, but as long as you're down to just your one character, you can move on or something. It looked interesting, and it got really good reviews on Steam, so it's very positive. So I think that's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah! Come
I'm
on,
sorry,
Dustin!
I was reaching for my copy of Gears of War. I wasn't lying. It's at arm's reach. I am ready. I'm pumped. I got it. I wasn't lying. I wasn't.
All right.
Gears of War.
Games with
They're
Gold,
ready.
yay.
Can't wait. All
Only
right,
Gears 2 left from the Gears franchise as well.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Gears
That's-
1, 3, and Judgment were all given away with Games with Gold.
Let's talk about Minecraft selling 20 million on PC. New console patch lets you flatten the world. All right, people. So this is an awesome update. So essentially, it allows people to go, "Hey, I have this awesome world, but I don't want to I want to be able to dig down into it, but I don't want to have giant mountains." And they're gonna let you flatten it out. Because if the problem with you load up a flat world, it's only 5 blocks deep, so you can't really dig down at all. It kind of sucks. So that's why I never played on flat worlds. I don't like them. I think they're the fact that they're only 5 blocks deep sucks, and I don't enjoy it. I don't think they added anything else. I mean, there were more like skins and stuff like that. But I think they said this game has sold up to 70 million copies at this point.
It's insane.
So it is
Wow.
on pace to be the best-selling game of all time. Period.
What's really cool about it is it's a games as a service game essentially, because they're constantly changing it and developing this game, but they're not necessarily making probably a lot of money off of the people who already have it, but because they're constantly improving it and the user base keeps growing. So it's really shocking that it's worked like this, and I'm so surprised it's at as a high number of people who have bought this game as it is.
I think the other thing is that a lot of people probably buy it on multiple platforms.
Yeah, that's good.
Even if it's just like PC or mobile or console and mobile.
I own it on
That-
360, Xbox One, PC, and on my phone.
Well, there you go.
What about PlayStation, bro?
It's the same thing as the Xbox version, so I didn't pick it up.
Oh.
Like, PC's different, completely different. Like, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff in PC. Mobile's just like, hey, I want to pop it out of my phone and play with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like console, I only need one version of the console. And I actually ended up playing the PS4 version of it today, actually. Went over to my brother's house. He owns a PS4. Saw Minecraft on it. I wanted to see what he was building when he was, he was taking care of some stuff. And not my nephews, but his nephews had built like a bunch of shit in it. And I was just exploring it and destroying the world. It was a good time.
Right.
Yeah.
Minecon is
Soon.
next week as well in London.
Yep.
Which is exciting for Minecraft fans.
For Dustin.
Yes, definitely, because we might actually see some more information on what's going to happen with the console version. Maybe even dedicated servers, please, Microsoft. That's all I want.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
I think it would make Vern play Minecraft more.
Maybe. Probably not. But maybe.
No, but I think
There's-
that would be a feature that would entice you. Like, if you weren't sitting there like, well, I'm going to build this, and then...
Oh,
like,
then it's
turn it
gone.
off
Yeah,
and it's
you're right.
gone, but if you could, like, start a place in a world and then just have a bunch of your friends keep building with you in it,
And I can be surprised at all the
Yeah.
dicks that show up. Yes.
yeah, penises everywhere. Penises. Now we got a title for the show. But, I bought a Minecraft skin pack after the Xbox One update. That's cool, Zorps. Alright, I guess that's enough Minecraft talk. We're going to move on to more Xbox features coming to Windows 10 preview. Friends list support, avatars, and more will be usable. I kind of wish I could show it off, because I am running the latest version of Windows. It's actually really nice.
Yeah,
Let me pull it up
it's
real
nice. Which one do you have, the 59 or did you do the 62? Because they just came out with another one today for fast build.
I am on 59.
They have another one, so they just updated it again.
I'll update that later. I try not to update Windows in the middle of a show. Try. It's hard sometimes. It's worth it. But you get like recently played on the top left now. You get a featured games list on the bottom left. I think that's brand new. The featured games. 'Cause I
Does
believe
the
it was all just
store
recently
still
used.
open up a separate store, or is it integrated into the Xbox app?
It opens up a separate store. You click on
Oh.
Yeah, store beta.
it.
It just says beta.
They need
It
to-
says-
They need to get that integrated.
It's a nice update though. They really are getting close. So
Mhm.
29th is when
Right.
they're gonna release.
That's
Being
very
able
cool.
to
Launch is 26 days.
Yeah,
You
it's
can hit
soon.
My Games, and you could it says Microsoft Solitaire Collection. Visit the load, find more games, add games from your PC. So you're going to essentially be able to do kind of exactly what you did on Steam. Is if you have an Origin game and have a way to link to it, you'll be able to pull it up and add it to this list, and just have this as your launcher instead of having Steam open or an Origin open or anything else.
Uh-huh.
But it's a nice feature. It's cool. Let's move on from that. I mean, but I hate to say there's not a lot of news this week since
There
E3
really
just happened.
isn't. So it's prep for Gamescom, pretty much.
Yeah. How to get Fallout 3 free on an Xbox with Fallout 4 now and later. So, if you have pre-ordered a copy of Fallout 4, in 7 to 10 days, you're going to get a code from Microsoft if you pre-ordered it on the Xbox Live Store, and you'll be able to play Fallout 3 on your Xbox One.
Yay.
Now, if you pre-ordered in a store, you're not going to get it till the game releases. And the reason being is they don't want people like me that go on Amazon and be like, hey, I pre-ordered it for free, and they send me
Cancel!
a code. Yeah, that's what they're trying to stop from happening. So, it's, it's one of those, like, kind of... I understand why they did it, but at the same time, I really think this should have been a Games with Gold game, but, alright. I think it has been a Games with Gold game before, too. But,
I don't know about that. I don't remember.
What, Fallout?
yeah.
No,
No?
It
pretty
hasn't.
sure it
no.
hasn't.
It hasn't. I'm gonna wait to pre-order this because with Xbox Rewards this month, it's just the driving game promotion thing. So I'm gonna wait and see what the promotion is gonna be the month after that or the month after that, and then pre-order it then, because sometimes they'll do promotions where if you buy 3 games, you'll get 15 back or something like that. So I'm not gonna get this one right away.
But that's how you get your Fallout 3. And guys...
I want them to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I was just say I want them to make it backwards compatible so I can play my disc version on Xbox One. Like I want them to
it
be
was
now.
kind of weird how they explain that, because it's like, if you get the pre-order, you're going to be able to play it right off the bat, like in 7 to 10 days once you get the code. But if I have a copy... Can I
On
just...
360, they didn't confirm when it's going to be available for backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems the thing is that I still think that because they've got that and Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2, which would be tokens given away with the new games, I think that they'll want to get them in preview soon.
Yeah, they'll prioritize
So
them.
whenever they do the next update, I'd be very surprised if they weren't in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can play it finally after like 7 years.
Yeah, my older brother went out today, bought himself a PS3 specifically to play Fallout 3.
What?
Yep.
Stupid.
He was just he owns a PS4. He was very tempted to get an Xbox 360, but he got a really good deal on a PS3, so he could play. He
Just
ended
get an
up picking,
Xbox One.
Was it free?
I know. It was like $80.
Oh,
got
okay.
PS3, Fallout 3, the show, an extra controller. And, like, it was a good deal. But he was excited to play more, Fallout. But that's it for news, people. That's it. That's all
No,
I
there's
got.
more news.
Wow.
There's definitely more news, right? The Gears of War Ultimate Edition's beta helped fix the game, guys. There are over 1 million matches played in a week. And they announced the changes that they're going to make because of the beta. Multiple fixes in tuning for the Nasher shotgun. Multiple fixes for frag grenades, boom shot, torque bow. Tuning for footstep audio and other sounds around the player. King of the Hill improvements, including ability for the Coalition to adjust more settings for competitive play. They removed the active down from active reloaded long shot sniper rifle, and added and tuned the active bonus for the sniper bloom /aim. Bug fixes for matchmaking. They're tuning the red and blue colors for the team shaders. I guess that's, how in the distance you can see their color, which is kind of a weird thing that wasn't in the old game. They improved the look of the blood and gore in the game, and they're also improving game performance to reduce screen tearing. And there's some bug fixes for tuning the controller sensitivity and a few bug fixes on the maps and stuff. So that's some news, right? Yeah.
They did also detail their Gamescom and Comic-Con stuff.
Yes,
somewhat.
they did. We can talk about that.
So, did you want to talk a bit more about what you said? Gears. It's good that
Not much to say. The sniper thing is the one that I think is the biggest change, but. And screen tearing, that's always nice to not have. So
I thought that was a bit of a strange inclusion because not that they fixed it, but that it seems like because apparently it was like if you go on the Xbox store, it said that the build was from like February or something because obviously they were doing all the testing. So I thought it was this kind of thing that you think that in sort of 4 or 5 months, screen tearing is something that they would have fixed. Like I would kind of hope that if they're gonna do this port and bring it to Xbox One, that it wouldn't have tearing.
right.
But maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, but I guess that's something they're focusing on. That's why they put it in the patch notes or whatever,
Yeah.
the fixes. So
How did it run? Because I didn't play it at all.
it ran really well. There was some tearing, but the frame rate for the most part was really solid. And I like the new changes as far as the artwork and the new textures and all that. Some people say it makes the game not look as dark and hurts the mood of the game, but I don't agree. I think the reason people like Black Crush because the 360 version has Black Crush and Gears 2 and 3 don't. So,
But if you compare the images side by side, the tone change is because back then they weren't able to put the level of detail into the environments that they've
part
got
of it,
now.
yeah.
So what you've got now is that that atmosphere is it's not lost. It's just changed because then in order to get that dark, gloomy atmosphere, they literally just made the game brown and grey. Whereas
Yeah.
now they can get that dark atmosphere by having all these detailed environments and
Color.
having the lighting portray it as a dark,
Well, the thing
apocalyptic
is,
world.
in some of the side by side comparisons, the new version actually looks darker with more details in those dark areas. So
Mm.
I think people were trying to find something to bitch about is what it came down to. I mean, there are some people, they probably really do feel that it loses something, and I understand that. But when you look at the artwork from remember the bundled art book that came with the original limited edition? I think it was called Destroyed Beauty or something like that.
Mm.
When you look at that artwork and then compare it to what we're seeing in the remaster, it looks very close now. It looks like they went to the source material to create what we're seeing now, which I really appreciate. So
Yeah.
I'm happy about what we've seen from it, and I can't wait to play it all over again.
Mhm.
But yeah, Gamescom.
Oh, I was going to say there was a bit of other news before that.
Ooh.
Rory, it's not that exciting. Rory McIlroy PGA Tour has a 10-hour EA Access trial starting from July 9th. So if you're a golf game, if you're a golf fan, or just
So you can play for
10
10
hours, right?
hours. Yeah, you can play for 10 hours, then you wait until it's free on EA Access, and everything's all good. You don't have to buy it.
exactly.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Unless you really want it, go ahead and buy it. Yeah, do that.
And it's a generous trial. I mean, they did say, they did talk about when they first announced it. They were like, they mentioned sort of 2-hour trials or something, didn't they? Like a minimum of 2 hours. But we haven't had one that's been 2 hours yet.
It's been 6 hours at a minimum, right?
Yeah, 6 hours, 10 hours. So I think they've done a good job of I think they obviously feel quite confident in their games.
Yeah.
They are, because otherwise they would have just said, I mean, they could have just put this at 6 or less because that was sort of the standard. But it's like, no, play it for 10. Then I mean, they cancelled it last year. So
EA's been pretty smart with their releases over the last few years. I mean, they're only pretty much putting out hits over this generation, at least. I don't remember a bomb this generation. I mean, even though the Battlefield Hardline wasn't very popular, it still sold pretty damn well, and I think it met or exceeded expectations for Electronic Arts. So they've had a pretty good generation so far.
Mhm.
All right.
Gamescom.
Gamescom. What's going on with Gamescom? Tell me about it.
Okay.
Why should I care?
I'll do Gamescom, then we'll do Comic Con. Okay, so the briefing will be at 3 p.m. GMT, so that's 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, I think. in all the regular places. They once again mentioned Scalebound, Quantum Break, Crackdown, all that sort of stuff, and all the interactive things. At the booth, so they talked about some of the playable games. There'll be then all of them, including Halo 5, Guardians, Warzone, Forza Motorsport 6, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. They've also said that there's other games playable at the booth. And to watch in the theatre. They talked about it being a taste of the games you'll be enjoying both this holiday in 2016. And they seem to be hyping up, that it's we'll take a closer look at those and other upcoming titles, as well as share some exciting announcements. So they seem, they're sort of quite pushing it as, this is
E3 too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, during our E3 2015 Xbox briefing, we shared the first part of our vision for the future of Xbox gaming. That will continue when the Xbox team takes the stage the evening before Gamescom officially kicks off to share the latest games coming to Xbox One. So that's very exciting. And there's another fan fest is going to go on for us Europeans.
It's 2 days, right?
Yes. We are no longer tier 2. Apart from the fact that E3 is earlier. But we're...
Save the best for last.
Exactly. So, and they talked about, they've got sort of all these other plans, AC Bongos and Major Nelson, who did the daily shows. They did say at E3 that they would bring the daily shows back to Gamescom, but they haven't dated them. Not dated them, but they haven't specified them in this post, I think probably because they weren't necessarily sure if they were going to do it. So they'll tell us a bit later, and they need to work out what's actually going to be in it.
Yeah, they might not do 3. They might do 1 or 2. Yeah.
So... But the thing is, Gamescom's actually the show floor is open for, is it 5 days? I think there's a press day, or no, I think it's 4 days. There's a press only day, and then have all the consumers come in. So if they wanted to drag out for 4 days, but actually do hour-long shows instead of the hour and a half they did at E3, so there's lots that they could do there. So yeah,
I'm really excited about Gamescom. And I think we're going to see a lot of new stuff just because Microsoft wants to take advantage of Sony not having a keynote.
I don't know how much new stuff you're going to get, though. To be honest.
Well, I mean, we already know of 3 things that we didn't see at E3.
That's going to be the biggest part of the show, is the gameplay for them.
But Phil Spencer did say that he expects just as much content, new announcements and content as E3. So if that's the case, maybe we do see 2 new games that we weren't expecting, maybe 4 announcements total. But you figure at E3 we had the big things were backwards compatibility, ReCore,
The controller.
The controller.
Sea of Thieves,
yeah.
Rare
Replay, Gears Ultimate, and Gears 4, Yeah. So if we get even 4 and not 7, say, big things, that's pretty good for Gamescom, especially considering the way Microsoft has treated it in the past. So,
all right. Well, you're going to get press play, right?
Possibly. There's a good chance, yeah.
I think that Kudo said something about it.
Well, he was just visiting there, and he also just visited, Lionhead.
Yeah, he's been to all of their. He was at Lift, he was at Lionhead, he was at Rare, he was in Denmark to see Press Play. He was in the south of France for some reason. I checked a developer list. If there's someone working in south of France, I couldn't work out who it'd be.
What does Lift London do? What the hell do they do?
HoloLens and mobile, right?
Okay. Originally they were making a mobile game, and they were making like 4 of them, and then they hit a concept, Eden Falls, which is what all their concepts. If you go on their website, lift.london. That's literally just the web address. They have all this concept art, and that is for Eden Falls. But they then changed all their descriptions to say that they were mobile, console, tablet, and then they got merged with Soho Productions, who did the Upload Studio, and then we found out they were working on HoloLens. So they've still got all the console, mobile, tablet stuff there, but when HoloLens was shown, was it Build or something after that? They, a couple of Lift people tweeted about their work on HoloLens, so I haven't got a clue.
Well, the Twisted Pixel, do you think they'll be at Gamescom?
I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, from the way what Phil Spencer was talking about it, it sounded like they're not as far along as I guess we were thinking.
Well, I think it was not about how far along they were. It was about I think that he wants to show these things with not much. Like they don't need to announce what will be a sort of not they don't need to announce like a Halo, a game that's not Halo like 18 months in advance. You saw what they did with Ori. The intention was
Right.
announced at E3, release in the holiday. So I think if Twisted Pixel are there, it will be because they're announced it and then they'll launch it probably sort of early to mid next year.
Right.
So if they're not, but if it's but because they're according to them they're making what they call a AAA game, which for a big game for 30 people. I would think that if it's not a Gamescom, it's probably because it's not due until later in 2016, and it's just they're making sure that because they'll have it polished and they'll have it ready and that sort of thing, and it'll just be much further along, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It didn't sound like they were ready to show or that they were planning on showing them at Gamescom from the way he was talking in that interview. So
Yeah.
press play, it does sound like they're going to be there though.
Yeah.
For sure.
And Kudo did say you'll see the game soon.
And maybe we see Lionhead's new IP.
That'd
I
be
mean,
nice.
that's a possibility. I guess
It's
it depends
doubtful,
on
though.
it depends on what it is and how big it is.
I think Fable Legends is the limiting factor here,
Yeah.
simply because things. I mean, they said on the 20th of June last year. I was checking it earlier for something. They said last year they're working on a new IP. They've got an 8-man team doing it. We hope to have something to show you within the next year.
But they probably
Obviously-
they probably thought Fable Legends would be out by then. Yeah.
Not according to David Ecclesbury. who- if you remember.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
but it seems like an E3. If it's not in 2015, then did they really need to show it at E3? No. But the thing is, I guess it depends. Like, what they seem to be doing is announcing titles. The intention is to announce titles for the year before. Obviously, that wasn't quite the case with E3 last year. But I think that any new titles that we see this year won't be like a Scalebound or a Crackdown, which we're not going to see them
Quantum
in
Break,
2017. Yeah, it will be that they'll announce titles at Gamescom that will be sort of holiday next year or early next year or that sort of period. I think that's how we'll see them generally split their announcements up. So
I still think we're going to see a surprise or two, kind of like Recore. Something that just kind of.
I don't know if they're gonna have
comes-
something that big.
Why not? Why
I
not?
don't know.
Why not? Because you figure Recore came out of nowhere, and it really isn't that big when you think about the size of the team that's working on it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like some kind of developer who's an independent developer that we're kind of not aware of or not thinking of, that kind of comes out of nowhere and they're making a new game. That's a possibility. I mean, that could happen.
I think like when Phil was on the TRC podcast, the Inner Circle podcast, so last year, they gave him a list of games and he said, we're working on a couple of things on that list. And as far as I can remember, they haven't announced anything that was on that list. But he did say they were working on a couple of them. And, and he's been talking about, and they've got this thing about owning IPs and looking at the back catalogue and seeing what fits. So I think it's likely that there will be, I think in terms of big announcements, I wouldn't expect like huge AAA games to get announced, that sort of thing. But what I think is a good place to announce is, there'll be some revivals, but there'll be sort of digital titles, store titles, that sort of thing.
Right, like a
that's-
Battletoads or a smaller Banjo game or something.
So the sort of thing that like Ori was, which was a kind of a premium.
Steve, do
digital
you know
title.
what was on that list? Tyson in our chat wants to know.
I will get the list. I believe I do have it quickly to hand. I mean, I can tell you it was stuff like Halo Wars 2, that sort of
See
thing.
that? Do you think this would be a time to announce it? I'm thinking Halo Wars 2 would be something that we'll see at next E3 and not Gamescom personally, but who knows?
Possible. Yeah, I mean, decisive games, I suppose, are probably a bit of a wild card.
Yeah,
So they could be there.
that could be something they could bring out at a PC event too, for all we know. So
Yeah, I mean, Gamescom, I guess, would because they did originally say that Gamescom would be announcements for Xbox One and PC, and now they seem to have very slowly sort of pushed off the
PC stuff.
the PC mention.
Well, maybe they were planning on announcing Killer Instinct and Gears of War Ultimate Edition at Gamescom instead of at the PC show. But that kind of seemed like a last minute thing with Microsoft's involvement with the PC gaming show. So
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even have a. Did they even put like a logo off Killer Instinct? Like he just sort of
no, he just said it on
Yeah.
his. He's on his couch. Oh yeah, we're doing Killer Instinct. Oh yeah, we're doing Gears later. But that whole show was just kind of unprofessionally put together. It was kind of lame. Felt like a late night talk show. It was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still really curious what we're gonna see at Gamescom. I think it's gonna be a pretty good show.
It should be. It's going to be good, but I don't know how many surprises we're going to get. I mean, we were really surprised with E3 with backward compatibility. I don't think that usually doesn't happen. So
Well, they said new announcements though, so there's at least 2 things that will be announced. If they say new announcements, you
I
know?
think pretty much central to the show is the 3 gameplay of those games.
Well, yeah, but
Mm.
the only new announcement we can even, but we feel like we're sure of is press play. So there's gonna be one more that we don't know what it is. So
The updates we pretty much know. We have streaming. We have the backward compatibility. There's nothing. The big update is going to be to the new UI. That's the big deal. I would think up till then you're just going to get smaller updates. You know. I don't think you're going to get anything on that end.
I think, like, talking about sort of new announcements, like, I think that they'll probably, they'll list backwards compatible games. Like, if they haven't announced them
Possibly,
before, they'll announce more. I'm sure that they've got other games that they'll announce. I mean, if we look at what they could have at the end of sort of 2016, if you've got Gears, there'll be a Forza, but they're not going to announce another Forza before Forza 6 is out. So that'll be a title next year. Crackdown could be there. I mean, generally they like to have sort of 3, 4 big games. So I think they'll definitely have things to announce. So maybe the thing is, I mean, they kept theirs E3 surprises quite. I mean, we didn't know about Recore. We didn't know what Sea of Thieves was. We didn't know that we were going to see Gears like gameplay. They kept the backwards compatibility quiet. So, if they've managed to keep those things quiet, who's to say they haven't kept anything else quiet?
I mean, if they have another big announcement, that'd be huge. But I just, to be honest, I just think it's going to be the 3 and then smaller stuff.
we didn't see a single major third party announcement
Deal.
at E3. So there's always that possibility too. I mean, that's what popped up last year with Tomb Raider. So who knows?
You might get
if it's 2016.
Yeah.
the list.
Well, I mean, I don't. They definitely have a strong 2015 and 2016, but they I'm sure are starting to work on 2017 now. Well, they should start, right?
Well, 2017 would have been started in 2013, 2014. Think of like preliminary stuff. So
I don't know.
you got to look that far back. Because I mean, 3-year development cycles are pretty common now.
So they might have some stuff incubated or whatever, in incubation.
I mean, if you look at when Gears was started, which was January 14, and obviously we saw at E3 was kind of the halfway point. So, I mean, it's only another sort of 6 weeks, but if they were to look at Gamescom and tease something to launch that would launch alongside Gears. I mean, to be fair, Halo Wars could easily be at this show. It's a PC show if it's on PC. They announced Halo Wars at the X06, the same year that Halo 3 was announced. So they haven't had a problem announcing 2 Halo games at this sort of a similar time period.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, looks like you got the list, right?
Yes, I posted it in.
Yeah, well, we gotta speak it out for our listeners.
So the list that was on TLC podcast was Halo Wars 2, Alan Wake 2, Blinks, Mech Assault, Fusion Frenzy, Banjo Kazooie, High Heat Baseball, Cameo 2, Otogi, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Shenmue, and Conquer.
There's only
So-
4 of those that are even possible. In my
So
opinion.
the thing is that he said we're doing something with a couple of those, and I'm pretty sure when he said it, Rare Replay was
One of
it
them.
was in the work. But to be fair, I don't think he counted those. And obviously, Shenmue's a Sony thing, so so if you, unless Rare or
Well,
Rare
no,
IPs
see,
are working
Shenmue
elsewhere.
is I don't know what kind of thing it is, but they made it clear it's not being developed by Sony.
But it's not something that Microsoft are going to be making,
No.
which was sort of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
purpose of the list.
But there's
I
4 on this list that are even a possibility,
Look,
in my
Cameo
opinion.
2 is confirmed.
No, Halo Wars 2, Alan Wake 2, Banjo-Kazooie, or Banjo 3, should we say, and a new Conquer. Those are the only 4 games to me on this list that could even possibly happen. The 2 more obvious ones of those 4 are Halo Wars 2 and Banjo 3. You know?
But
Well,
you got to
Bam-
remember, sorry, when he was asked about this list, and he said we'll work on a couple of those things. We know since then that Remedy have said that they're not making Alan Wake 2. They're
Right.
trying to get it made. So I think as much as if Alan Wake 2 happens, I don't think it was one of those games on that list he was referring
No.
to,
Yeah,
unless they
right.
unless they were duping us a bit.
So it's down to Halo Wars, Banjo, and Conquer, and it's probably not going to be Conquer since I just don't see that happening. So
Well, could Rare be working on another title in addition to Sea of Thieves?
yeah, and on Unity, we're thinking maybe.
Yeah, I do. The thing is, someone did actually ask one of the very nice ladies at Rare about this week. They said to her on Twitter, this was, will you be announcing any new projects at Comic-Con or Gamescom? And she said, because two recent announcements aren't enough. I know we're good, but ... smiley face. So, I don't know. Even if they do have something, it doesn't sound too much like...
Well, I had asked Craig Duncan, who I think he's the head of Rare, or he's
Yeah.
He told me they will be there, possibly showing Rare Replay. So I had asked him. I
Makes
said,
sense.
"Are you going to Gamescom?" He said, "Yeah, we might be there, possibly to show Rare Replay." But he didn't give a definitive answer. So I don't know. I mean, Halo Wars 2 could be a possibility, but who wasn't Age of Empires 2? Weren't we talking about that it was rumored? There was an RTS that was rumored. Steve?
They had a couple of job listings on the Microsoft careers page for a strategy game studio called Decisive Games. So I mean, it specifically said in the job listing that they are making a new title in a beloved strategy game franchise. They didn't specify RTS, but I assume that's what they meant. And then when there was the reorganization in March, where lots of people moved to different places, Kudo Tsunoda specifically mentioned Decisive Games as a studio.
Yeah, in
So-
his first interview. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
So-
think that they might be at Gamescom?
it's very possible.
Mhm.
The question is, are they making Halo Wars or Age of Empires?
Or Rise of Nations or something.
I mean, it's possible. I think the first two are a lot more probable.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, things that we don't actually know. I've tried to sort of look on LinkedIn and things, and I can't find a single mention of them, like nothing at all. So I don't even know whether they're just getting going and they've got like 10, 15 people. So obviously they won't be showing a game. But the fact that they were name drops, I didn't really understand why they would do that. If we were going to then wait 2 years to hear from them, kind of thing. So perhaps they could be a bit of a surprise.
That'd be
reveal.
nice. That'd be nice. I think if you get one of those type announcements, that's nice.
Yeah,
I
would
want two. I want 2 good announcements. We need more than just one.
Yeah.
We need more than just one. We do.
Well, we do.
For
do.
Gamescom to be like a big thing, if they just come out and say, "Here's
Well,
Decisive Games Halo Wars 2,"
have,
and that's the only new thing besides
well,
the
what
new
if
gameplay,
Scalebound comes out and it's
I still don't think that's enough. I mean,
well,
from the way
Crackdown 3 with
yeah,
the
but
cloud, that's pretty
from the
big.
way they've been hyping Gamescom and the way Phil Spencer was saying, "Hey, it's important. We have just as much new stuff and announcements at Gamescom as E3," and if they come out and they only have a couple things, I mean. I don't know.
Nobody's
if
going
that's,
to complain, but nobody's going to
I
complain.
don't-
Everyone's going to be talking about.
that's not living up to a promise though. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Phil
I
has
don't know.
delivered on what he said so far, and the fact that he said that there's going to be an equal amount of content between the two different shows, I'm expecting more.
yeah.
And I don't think it's silly to expect more. It's like he has delivered every
I
time.
hope
he
so.
says,
I just don't. I just think that we're going to.
Well, you're not getting your hopes up. That way you can be surprised. I get it, Sam.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
get
not that. I feel like I do feel like it's E3 was going to be is still, even though they saying it's the same. I think E3 is a little bit bigger,
Oh, obviously, we agree.
and I think that's going to show too. I think that you'll get three gameplays of Crackdown, Scalebound, and Quantum Break, and that'll look awesome. And that's probably going to be most of the talk. Well, you're going to get a little small. You might get press play announcements of those two games, two smaller games.
I
and
assume
then you might get
we'll get
one.
an indie. I assume we're going to get another ID at Xbox section too, with some new announcements like that.
Tim, I'm
Right.
making you a new photo right now. It's going to be called "In Phil We Trust."
You got to
be-
make one for Gamescom.
I know, I do. I got to make something awesome.
Do it in
Gamescom.
Phil We Trust. There you
We
go.
Trust, yeah.
Do that.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Do it in
I
Phil
mean-
We Trust boat.
I hope he's on stage
Both
more this
fine.
time. He wasn't on stage much at all for E3.
No, he wasn't at all. It was 2 times in about 8 minutes.
All
I
right,
mean,
well, no,
Phil.
no.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to actually move on from this topic unless y'all want to, because we're about an hour.
Steve wants to
into this.
talk.
I was just gonna say,
Steve
Phil's-
loves to talk. You got to rein Steve in sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
I'll keep it brief. Phil was the one that's kind of set the bar for what we should expect for new content. So, but just because it's new content, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be another sort of mic drop moment of backwards compatibility or something big like that. It could just be
Hey,
something
that's not true.
smaller.
Phil could come out, and he's going to be like, he's going to look directly in the camera, and he's going to be like, Dustin, we're starting a Kickstarter today for Crimson Skies, and I'm going to pledge like $1,000. You know why? Because it's Crimson Skies. I have more love for Crimson Skies than Shenmue. $0 Shenmue, $1,000 Crimson Skies, no doubt. Just
No, it's $30 on the third.
and
for
you know what?
Shenmue.
Know who agrees with me? Peter Moore. That's right. That's right.
Who agrees with you?
Peter Moore, Crimson Skies.
Oh
best Xbox
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good segue into the interview.
Yeah.
Since you wanted to talk about that some.
Well,
to the
I want to
podcast.
recommend everybody talk or go and watch the latest episode 201 of Podcast Unlocked. It is probably and even Ryan McAfee says, their best episode they will probably ever do. Because it was amazing. I don't really want to talk about it too much, though.
We can talk a little though. I mean, we can say who was on it. First off, Seamus Blackley was on it, and he was one of the original creators of the Xbox. Peter Moore was on it, who was head of marketing for a while, and then took over the highest duties of Xbox, whatever they called him at the time. All that restructuring has changed over the years. And then Phil Spencer, head of Xbox Now, was on the show as well. And it was just kind of a round table,
Everything
among these three guys about their experiences, working for the company and their trials and tribulations, their successes, and they all gave some details on, what it was
Open up
like.
some curtains, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good though. I mean, Seamus Blackley talked about how the reason Xbox is green is because he had a green highlighter at the time, and
All the other highlighters were taken, and nobody
Yeah.
wanted green. And
yeah,
it stopped.
it could have been pink if all they had left was pink. So,
Yeah.
It was a fascinating show. Like I'm not
Yeah.
like I was after I'd finished watching it. I was genuinely very impressed. I thought I can't speak highly. It was fantastic.
Well, like the stuff about AMD.
Yeah, that was
for the original
crazy.
Xbox. That was crazy, man.
It's like, yeah, the night before, it's like, we're going with Intel. It's like, huh?
Well, no, but in the actual announcement, the AMD guys didn't even know it yet until it was announced on stage.
Yep.
That
And they were
that's
doing
a
all the
man. That's a
custom
gut wrencher.
silicon and everything. Just
Uh,
fucking, no.
Yeah, that was a big one. And then what's his name? Peter Moore talked a while about the Red Ring of Death and how they reacted to that, and it was really cool. I mean,
Specific about
he-
Steve Ballmer too, about how
right? He said,
was
you know,
nervous and
this is a
scared.
$1.5 billion problem. At least to handle it the way that I want to handle it, and I think we should handle it. And Steve Ballmer just said, "Okay,
without
go with it."
hesitation, just go, do it,
Yeah,
get it done.
yeah.
Which is awesome.
And they spent $240 million alone just on FedEx because of all the overnighting back and forth.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that was really crazy to hear that.
I don't want to get too far into it, but there were so
Yeah.
many good stories in it that, like, I would love to go over it, but I want people to actually go and check out Podcast Unlocked and watch it. It's an hour and a half long. It's a fairly beefy show. It has tons of content. It's a lot of good stories, and it's just like it's not like a promotional video or like
Mm-mm.
anything like that. It's just a cut. Like if they had beer in their hands, it would.
It's
seem
very
perfectly
candid,
fine.
yeah.
It's just, they're a couple guys talking about their experiences. From being able to go, yeah, I lied. Like, it's like if the original Xbox, if in the perfect world, it's going to do all these numbers, and you just lie through your teeth nonstop.
Well, that was
until it
Seamus Blackley
happens.
talking about that, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's how you make a product. But he was talking about the dedication that Bill Gates and how Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer were all about
The
making
bridge
the
game.
Xbox succeed.
Oh,
Oh, the bridge game was a
Bridge.
great story. What else? I wanted Phil Spencer talked about how, because we talked about the other two. We talked about Peter Moore. What did Phil really get into?
At the end, he really got into how he reacted to the original plans of the Xbox and its success, or lack of success early on.
and how they'd sort of changed the mentality of the team, because obviously, I mean, that first year it sounded like, you know, everyone was a bit sort of kind of upset that this thing they'd worked so hard on, and then everyone was like, no, I hate this. And even Peter Moore sort of talked about, from EA's side of it, like the initial unveil, and everyone was like, yeah, that was dreadful.
Right. And he was gushing about how great Phil Spencer was with making all the changes, you know, and how
Yeah.
important it was to even EA, because, you know, if Xbox doesn't do well, that's less console sales on a whole, which means for their multi-platform titles, they have less owners to sell these games to. So,
And if I remember correctly, Phil Spencer, his first job was at Microsoft. Has been there the whole time. So lifer.
yeah.
And like he does go into detail about his experience with the original Xbox and as a game developer, like studio head, stuff like that, and talking about what was happening then. But it's an amazing interview. Like,
And then Peter Moore talking about Sony hurting his Dreamcast. That was so
Yeah.
funny.
a lot of Dreamcast fans were reaching out to
You
Peter
hurt
Moore
my
in that interview.
Dreamcast. This was personal. That's so good.
Look, I gotta admit, when he was like, I can't. Who's the original Xbox? I keep forgetting his name.
Seamus Blackley.
Yes, when he came out and it was like, yeah, Dreamcast tried to do online, but it failed. I was just waiting for Peter Moore to like look at him and go, no, it didn't. It was great. And I was like,
Yeah.
but he was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was
There were-
pretty bad. They did their thing, and then we did it, and we had no
Did
idea
better,
it was
yeah.
going to work. And we were just like, the best case scenario is this dude that has a DSL connection way out in the middle of nowhere. It's going to work fine for him. And Xbox Live ended up just working fine for everybody. But they had no idea if it was actually going to work or not. But amazing show. And
Yep.
Ryan McAfee, you did an outstanding job doing that interview. Like, that was... IGN deserves all the credit for that. That was amazing. Some of the best E3 coverage I think we've ever seen.
Yep.
All right. Anything else news-wise should we talk about? Because there's other things people want us to talk about, and we are going to talk about Kickstarter and Sony Starter and dip our toes in that a little bit.
Firestarter.
Did you want me to do the Comic-Con stuff quickly? Because there is kind of a couple of
and then
interesting
releases
things in
too.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Comic-Con is next week, and they've got some. I think they've got sort of 20 cool limited edition consoles to give away, which I'll put a thing in the chat about it soon.
It's in San Diego, right?
Yes,
Okay.
San Diego Comic-Con. They've got playable titles, over 90 gaming stations and stuff like Gears Ultimate Edition, Forza 6, The Division, Plants vs. Zombies 2 are playable, so we get some new things for that. Also, there's a new Halo 5 Guardians Warzone map that will be revealed as well. But I suppose the main important thing is that Microsoft have quite a few panels there. So the first one on the Thursday is a rare chit chat, past and future. So obviously, unsurprisingly, a rare pun. They're going to be talking about Rare Replay. For the developers from the studio as they celebrate their 30 years. They're going to explore origins of classic titles, see how the Rare magic continues to shape future projects, and meet the team behind some of gaming's best love icons. So that's quite an interesting one. So that's Thursday the 9th. Also Thursday the 9th is Gears of War Ultimate Edition, The Arts of Improving an Xbox Classic. So obviously you've got all the Coalition guys, who, including Rod, who will be doing a panel talking about the original game and how they reimagined it for Xbox One. So I think that would be a particularly interesting one to see if they talk about anything else to do with the franchise. Might get some more footage as well. On Friday the 10th, the Hunt for the Truth, following the trail of the Halo 5 Guardians story. So unsurprisingly as well, 343 Industry plus special guests will be talking about the storytelling in Halo 5 Guardians. This panel will bring new insight into the mysteries surrounding Master Chief and sneak peeks of stories we have yet to tell, with a question and answer session afterwards. Also on the Friday is The World of Albion, the history and future of the groundbreaking Fable series. So David Eckelbury and Alex Skidmore, the lead designer, will talk about the evolution of the pioneering Fable Legends series, focusing mainly on Fable Legends, that sort of thing. Then there's an evolution of an icon, Rise of the Tomb Raider, on Saturday. So Camilla Luddington will be there. I would marry her, just so you know. You've got the lead writer, Rhianna Pratchett, who's the script writer, and other special guests to discuss the journey of one of the most iconic characters in entertainment history. So, and then there's also another one to do with the Halo Mega Blocks as well, which is on the Sunday. Over 65 million games sold, apparently. So yeah, so that's all the panels. That's sort of the main news really. That's quite interesting. I don't know anything anybody's particularly looking forward to.
I think everybody's looking forward to the Halo panel. It's all about story and future story stuff, because what they did with Hunt the Truth was freaking amazing, and
Still have to listen to it.
You are an idiot for not listening to it already.
I'm busy, man. You're an
it's
idiot.
Amazing. It's amazing. It's absolutely some of the best shit I've ever witnessed. It's just so good. I can't wait to. I want them to continue it. It's so well done. But that's it for news, guys. What's coming out, Steve? What do I have to look forward to?
There is one release, and that's next Friday, so a week today, on the 10th. That is Spectra, which is it's an indie game. It's like an arcade racer. You're trying to sort of drive through sort of like a futuristic blocky sort of obstacle course, and obviously get high scores and challenge and compete. There is Windows 8 versions, I believe, of the game, and they've spent a while sort of putting it on Xbox One. I'm not quite sure how much it'll be, but I think it'll be about $7 or so, possibly 10 max. But as far as I can tell, that's the only release next week. It's a very quiet week, but July does ramp up a lot in the latter months, so there'll be other new stuff for us to play later on.
All right. Well, before we get in this, I wanted to bring up our sister, well, not sister, our friend site, I guess. Please check out Rectify Gaming's forum. It's an awesome little forum. Well, go to rectifygaming.com. They're an awesome site. They do a lot of articles, a lot of news things, but they also have a nice forum. I really love the layout. I like the look of it. I do post there every now and then. And if Tyler ever got me, he'd probably string on my neck for not helping out and posting more. But I'll make more of an effort. But please check out rectifygaming.com. It's an awesome site. But we appreciate them because they help us out a lot. And I was just on their podcast like a week or two ago, and it was an awesome time. But I think everybody wants us to talk about Sony's Kickstarter website and how we feel about it.
What are you talking about? I couldn't find any information anywhere about this, about Sony's Kickstarter website.
Well, they started the crowdfunding for the products.
Yes.
You didn't see that?
Yeah, but it's not its own website, though, right? It's not its own initiative, is it?
It's not Kickstarter. They are doing their own Kickstarter.
Where is this? I didn't see a link or anything about
Just
this.
Google Sony crowdfunding.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just give you the link I just found. That'll probably be much easier.
Yeah.
I'll stick it in chat. I don't think it's exactly quite very well explained what they're doing, but basically they haven't got any money, so they're asking other people for it. But yeah, I mean, this is the third.
This wasn't anywhere really.
Well, what I'm confused about is, didn't they pull a profit, or they started to pull a profit last quarter?
Yes, things are looking up, but then they also announced that they're gonna sell off a load of shares and bonds or something to raise like $3.5 billion. So
and then their
it's
stock
called
plummeted
First Flight.
8%.
First Flight is the name of it. Okay.
So this way, Sony doesn't have to spend any money at all to gauge your interest in games that they can develop that they own, and you will.
It's
pay for
Japan
them to-
only right now, though.
Yeah.
it's also, it doesn't appear to be it's not a PlayStation initiative. I don't think
Right.
it's a
It's a
Sony.
product. It's a product.
It's a Sony thing, so
Yeah.
it's everything.
Could be glasses. Could be any kind of tech.
It's still really.
The first project to hit first flight will be Huis, an e-paper based adaptive remote controller.
Yeah. But
There's
I mean,
no
it
explicit
feels
mention of gaming
weird
in the
for
official
a-
release.
Right.
a $1 billion company to come out and be like, "Hey, fund this."
Well, and then we see what happened with Shenmue as well, and it kind of makes you think, oh, where is this going? I understand that. But, I mean, I don't think it's that alarming just yet.
But Shenmue wasn't their first Kickstarter. The first Kickstarter was Amplitude,
Amplitude,
which
yeah.
is a 100% Sony-owned IP. Harmonix wanted to do it to avoid layoffs, but at the end of the day, they wouldn't let then the Kickstarter struggled massively for the simple reason that if you're going to do a Kickstarter not on PC, you're dead. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But what happened was that basically they managed to sort of scrape it together, and right at the very end there was a bit of a surge. So I don't know if people sort of felt a bit sad for it or something, and then they just about went over the line. I mean, I understand that it's sad for Harmonix that they're in a situation where they were trying to limit layoffs, but if Sony want one of their own IPs to be funded, right, then you can't kickstart it and then not put it on the PC on the platform where all of the money is going to come from, which is PC. And I wasn't very impressed when they did that last year. I'm not particularly too impressed with the Shenmue thing either.
Well, how much is Shenmue at right now? 3.2?
3.8.
3.8.
And it's pretty much dead?
It's picked up a little over the last couple days. And I mean, as you get closer to the end of a campaign, it always picks up. And but the biggest issue has just been that the Kickstarter has been run very poorly. First off, they weren't clear with their funding and Sony's relationship. Second, their stretch goals were really stupid. Third, they weren't very clear with what kind of game you were going to get at 2 million compared to 10 million until a little bit later on. So the whole thing is a little shady. I haven't been a big fan of it, and it's upsetting because I'm a big Shenmue fan, But I'm still supporting it because I want to play it, but I'm not a big fan of the way it's all turned out.
It seems Like I like they actually did some new art for one of the characters in it, and she actually looks much better. But it just the entire thing just seems rushed. Like it doesn't seem, like the Kickstarter wasn't ready as far as I'm concerned. Because the problem is that it's all well and good having a video, but they didn't actually show like a gameplay video of what to expect. Like you've got to sell people something, and words and a few pictures are only going to sell you so much. And they've handled it poorly.
Well, the video they showed in the very beginning is terrible too. I mean,
yeah,
it's been a mess. It needed another month to really figure out what they wanted this Kickstarter to be. But yeah, I think Steve's right. I think they rushed it just to get it out on E3 stage, and
Yeah.
well, the problem is they didn't. What they needed to do. The thing is, the whole point about Shenmue is that people want a finish to the story. They've also, by the way, announced that Shenmue 3 will not finish the story because there's so much of it to tell. This is
Right.
not the end, right? So then we're gonna have to go back and kickstart Shenmue 4 probably. But the problem is that they showed a trailer of two fairly. I mean, the thing is, I know that the models are ready, and the girl in the trailer, her character model has changed,
the
a lot.
voice acting was terrible. It was even worse than the Dreamcast ones.
But they have announced in the last couple of days
Theo's back,
got-
yeah.
that they've got all the people back, so that's good.
Yeah.
But the problem is that they didn't have right. If they'd have thought about it, they would have had like a story trailer. They didn't show anybody anything apart from two people walking for about, was it like 10 seconds with bad voices and
Yeah.
bad art. Like if they wanted to sell it to people to get this fabled 10 million that they're talking about, then they needed to show people something to get them to 10 million. And what
they
they've shown
didn't. They
is
didn't even
not.
need Sony. They didn't need Sony at all. All they had to do was come out and have like a really, really good Kickstarter and just flat out say from the beginning, we need 10 million. And I know some people would say, oh, well, that's just kind of ridiculous to come out and say that. But it would have been honest, and everyone would have said, well, we're not going to get this game unless we get them 10 million.
Yeah.
So let's make this thing happen.
And they would have had a bigger community push where it would be like, we need to, like, you would have people like Vern that would be like,
Oh, I would have been hardcore. I would have been
campaign. We need to get people to donate money to this. Like,
exactly.
You would have small groups pushing this Kickstarter. But this way, it's like, oh, no, Sony pushed it, and now all the Steam's gone because everybody's like...
Well, and
I
then it
don't
brings
like all
console
the
wars into
situations.
play somewhat, too.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, they
and you
could
don't
have
want
easily
that.
they could have said, hey, at 2 million, we're going to have a PS4 version. At 10 million, then we'll start, the Xbox
Well, no, at 2 million,
version
we're going
might-
to have a PC version. That's how they
Yeah.
should have started it.
Yeah.
You know, at 5 million, we'll have consoles. At 10 million, it'll be a full open world. You know,
Yeah.
that
The thing is, I mean, I don't think that like 10 million was like a necessity. Like, I think if they'd have had a goal higher than 2, if it had been like
3 or 4.
5,
Yeah.
3, 5, and 10 or something. But the problem is that they didn't tell us exactly what sort of game 2 million was going to get. Let's not forget that Shenmue, the original one, was the most expensive video game ever produced when it came out in
It
1999.
was also a really long time ago.
It was like 48 million or something.
Yeah.
Now, my concern is that if they couldn't stick to a budget and a price when they were working at Sega, what makes them think that and a timeline, what makes them think that they can do it now?
Well, the budgets are going to be different now as far as how far a budget can go, though. Because they were coming up with a lot of their own tech when they were at Sega, which was a huge expense. The game was it wasn't in full development for a really long time. They did a lot of preliminary work, which probably cost a lot of money too. And I mean, like, they have all the middleware and stuff like that they didn't have back then. So there's no way the game now would cost 47 million. So
Yeah, especially not using something like Unreal, like they could
exactly.
really pushed it.
5 million to me is reasonable for a decent Shenmue game, but not the Shenmue game we really want. But
we talk about middleware, but the 6.5 million stretch goal is Ragdoll Reaction.
yeah, they're terrible
but-
stretch
But
goals.
the other thing is that I honestly, the thing is, I know this for some people who might want to play Shenmue in the chat, this isn't a very useful answer to you, but for me personally, I have a PS4 and a PC, so I'm not too bothered for my personal self about missing Xbox. The question is the support that Sony, the support and assistance and resources that Sony are going to offer, is that worth more to the game than what allowing it to be on Xbox is? And the problem is that I don't see, from looking at, for example, the stretch goals, where this is the case, because PlayStation's a worldwide brand. They do well in every market, tons of languages, yet they were only going to launch it with Japanese and English languages per the FAQ at the bottom, and it was German, French, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese subtitles, not like dubs, subtitles are part of the stretch goals. Like, surely one of the big things that Sony can offer is, hey, we will help you localize this so that we can get this to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible.
You know what else is fishy too? There's no boxed version, like retail box version for the PS4 as a stretch goal or anything like that, or as a tier for donation. But there is one for PC. And why? Is that because Sony's saying, oh, we don't want that because we want people to buy those? I mean, what's the deal?
Well, I think it's because Sony are publishing the PC version. Sony are publishing the PS4 version, whereas they're going to self-publish the PC version.
So they don't want it conflicting with sales or something.
Well, yeah, I think that they don't want to... Perhaps they don't want to get dragged into... Because the thing is, producing console physical copies is not like it is for PC. Like Sony and Microsoft particularly apparently have actually quite a high threshold for it, but they have a certain amount of run of copies that you have to have in order for them to be prepared to do it. So I think that it does sound like eventually that Sony are going to cave and do a disc version, physical version. It does sound like during the Kickstarter campaign.
My bad.
They will do that, but the thing is that they only asked for like $29 for the game as well. I mean, the thing is that when you put that as your sort of bottom tier to get a copy of the game, like I would have gone 39 or something.
Yeah, they should have gone for 40. Yeah,
it just doesn't seem well thought out.
It was rushed. It was an E3 announcement that was rushed, basically,
because they wanted it on the E3 stage. Sony wanted the Megaton, and Yu Suzuki wanted the exposure. And they
rushed and they scrambled.
It was a bad idea.
But they could have had an awesome Gamescom announcement. That's all I'm saying. They could have came out and they could have said, "Hey, we're just going to have a couple things to say at Gamescom. Nothing, crazy." Came out, announced the Kickstarter or whatever, and blew it out.
Had some more time. Yeah.
Well, I think. Like the thing is, I honestly don't really have too much of a problem with Sony not just throwing money at the project. There's a reason why no one's touched it for 14 years. And I think that the Kickstarter is actually showing you partly why no one has touched it for 14 years. But what I think that Sony made the mistake of not doing by rushing out E3 rather than waiting for either Paris Games Week, PSX, or TGS, all of which are September to December times. So those sort of 3 events where you could have done it if they wanted the Sony on-stage exposure. There were periods to do it. They could have spent the time between E3 and then, as I said, making a story trailer or a gameplay prototype or something more significant to show people. And then they could have had
October event,
and then they could have had something much more substantial to show to people and say, this is what it's going to look like. And if Sony had to sort of advance them some money, assuming that they'd get it back from the Kickstarter, I think that that's a bet that they should have been prepared to make, because I'm talking about tens of millions here, because the Kickstarters, they're not going to have that funding.
And this is something that's probably been in the works for the last year, because a year ago. Or was it about a year ago? The thing with Mark Cerny doing what do you call it, like a retrospective or something like that on Shenmue. So that relationship has already been going for a while between Sony and Yu Suzuki. So you think they would have been better prepared, but
and then there's other things about why haven't they convinced Sega to say to them, let us put Shenmue 1 and 2 on the PlayStation Store and on Steam?
That should have been done earlier,
Because the thing is, it's exposure, it's income. Sorry, Dustin.
No, I guess Shenmue 2, who owns the publishing rights for it?
Sega.
Did Sega publish it on the Xbox?
No, Microsoft published it on Xbox. But it originally came out on Dreamcast, so they shouldn't have any issue. I mean,
I don't get why they don't release them on PS4 if they're gonna
Well,
have the third one.
There was a rumor because there was a time when Sega were getting all their Dreamcast games. They did, was it Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and others, where there is a rumor going around that Shenmue for PS4 and for PS3 and Xbox 360 was finished. The problem was that there was some licensing issues to do with the engine or something, and then the games that they were releasing weren't selling that well, so Sega just said
They didn't deal with it.
Fudge it. Let's not bother. So that could be an issue. But at the end of the day, if you're going to go into something like this, you can't expect people not to want to experience parts 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because they've half-assed it, and it's shown. Because as much as the exposure could help the Kickstarter campaign, selling Shenmue 1 and 2 would get you just plain get you more money to spend.
It's true, and they could have just changed maybe like the camera controls or something, made a new controls, a new adjustment to it.
Well, even
I
if
don't
even
support
just
it,
straight
but
ports.
right now the only good way to play Shenmue 1 and 2, because the Xbox version is sold out everywhere, and to hopefully finding a good Dreamcast and everything, I hate to say, is using an emulator and pirating almost to get to play those games. And
Was it Null DC?
Yeah, it's
Name
such
of
a
the-
crappy solution. Like, they needed to have something set up so, and it can't be like Xbox players. We know we had, what was it, a 2-hour-long video explaining what the first game was on the disc.
It's pretty long, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's you can't do that and that's what happened in the first 2 games. And play the third one, and there's going to be a fourth, and it's a crappy solution.
But they could have spent the time that they'd spent, because obviously they've done something in Unreal, but they could have spent all that time getting the first 2 on PSN, on PC and PS4, announcing that they're out, offering them at a good price, like $10 each or something, because the point is that you wanted to give it exposure. You can make your money back on that.
Yeah.
I think the nostalgia and hysteria alone would have made the money back on that. And then that's when you turn around and talk about, having, once people have played it for a bit. So say you'd have released those for like TGS or something in September, okay, and then at PSX or Paris Games World, you said, here's the Kickstarter. All you people that have played it, go and fund it.
Or hell, just release it the same day as E3 and announce the Kickstarter at E3. I mean, the games aren't that long to where you can't finish them in a week or so, and then by the end of the Kickstarter, you say, "Oh, I'll go ahead and kickstart it." So
When does the Kickstarter end?
2 weeks.
yeah,
So they're probably going to get 5 million. So we're not.
I-
We're not.
they
we're
could
not
go
gonna
higher. I think they might hit 6.
If-
It depends on how strong that last day worth of Kickstarter
Yeah,
is.
I think it could hit 6.
Well,
think
if it hits 6, it doesn't mean that we're not going to get a open world type deal, right?
It'll be okay
No,
at 6. It just won't be what it needs to be.
open world. Yeah. Like
But,
they
I mean,
specifically said 10 for open world. Or no,
The thing is,
it's always been weird though. It's not even open world. It's just like, and it's going to expand this town. Like, it's not.
Right.
It's something weird.
Well, that's the ultimate problem that they've had, is that it's okay to turn around and say to us 10 million will get us this. The thing is, they've talked about 10 million, but they haven't specifically said exactly how the game is if we do get 10 million. They haven't said what the game is if we do get 5. And if they'd have only made 2 million, they haven't said.
It sounds
exactly
like they
what the
don't know
game would
what the
have been.
game is going to be at all at this point.
I mean, I think I said this last week, but would it 2 million have been a Telltale game, 5 million have been a linear sort of action adventure game, and 10 million been an open world game or something?
Right.
But you have to tell people, because the thing is that you don't use it as an incentive to say, oh, you're going to get this rubbish Shenmue that's like a Telltale game. You say it to people to turn around and go, if you give us money and get us up to 10 million, this is what we can give you.
No, but would you rather Shenmue be like Telltale game? Honestly, just think about it. No, hear me out, just real quick. This is my idea.
Yeah.
Instead of Shenmue coming out as one big fucking game, they just said, "Hey, you know what? The rest of Shenmue is going to come out in episodes, and
or
we're
in
gonna take
chapters
you-
instead
Yeah,
of
in
putting 3
chapters.
chapters together or 4 chapters together.
Yeah, and then that way there doesn't have to be another game. You could just have another season of Shenmue, and then you could stretch it and allow people to buy the episodes as they come out, and literally just do the Telltale model. And then because I mean it's not open world. Don't get me wrong. It would literally be a linear story, but it's a way of approaching it.
I would, if they were upfront that that's what I was going to get and that was all that I could ever get, I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, me
because
too.
because they were upfront with what I'm going to get and they put my expectations in check. The problem I have right now is that I've offered them my $29, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to get because they won't tell me. And even the stretch goals, like they talked about the 10 million would get like an open world thing, but that's not what it says here. It just says Bailu Village expanded. I mean, there's even 11 million stretch goals that literally says Bailu Village expanded. Like, it's just the same thing. It says, the thing is, the 10 million stretch goal is Bailu Village expanded, mini games times 4, 10.25 million, betting games times 4, 10.5 million, Kung Fu Mastery, 11 million, Bailu Village expanded, Magic Maze.
What the fuck does Kung Fu Mastery mean?
Well, I assume it's something to do with how the fighting system.
Learn all the moves and everything, yeah.
But how you got that from $250,000, okay, and then how you also have here 500,000 worth of subtitles. I mean, well, they're just not going to release it in all these other European countries or something, or South American countries. It's not like these countries are only, what they don't seem to have a clue.
Well, this, to me, honestly, this sounds like it's barely a Kickstarter. Like, if anybody else tried to make this Kickstarter and, like, wrote this up, nobody would put money into it. Like, even Kickstarter would probably take it down. Like, dude, you have no vision, you have nothing. You're literally just saying, Shenmue, give me money.
Right.
I'll make something.
And
What if they included Xbox One in this last 2 weeks? Do you think it would? Could they do that? And
no, because it's not a marketing deal. They couldn't say it.
Right.
Like, the best you would see is other platforms. And they've already said that, kind of, is like it could come to other platforms. And it's still one of those, like, I don't know if it would help that much, honestly. I don't think it would double it or anything.
Right. I don't think offhand Xbox would really push it.
I don't know if Xbox would, but why they haven't got Linux and Mac versions? It's just another one of those things, because they're not Xbox.
Because if they're working off DirectX, they're not going to want to have to deal with Linux or figuring out Mac.
But you have Kickstarters that are
all the other Kickstarters do it though.
Yeah, it's you have to. There's no difference between the sort of the PC user base. It's not a console. Like, you make that extra investment because those people, like Linux people, invest a lot of money in Kickstarters. You go on Humble Bundles, you look at how much money is spent, and okay, the most of it's from PC, but the Linux people put a disproportionately large amount of money into those compared to how many people actually.
Because you're supporting
invest.
that OS that not as many people use, so they're willing to put more money. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
but
Linux is Steam OS.
Strapped for money
basically.
and cash on a game to make something as big as Shenmue, it makes sense that, like, every single penny is literally, we just need to get a Windows version out. Once we can start selling it and making more money, then we can put that money towards building other platforms.
Well, that's why you have stretch goals, though.
No, I know, but it's just one of it's been an awful Kickstarter. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
but that's also why the mistake. But the thing is that the reason why that doesn't work so much is because they need, like, the money for Linux and Mac that they'd get afterwards is no use to them when the game is already made. So they need that money now, which is the reason why they need to tell people that they're going to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
so because then those people will give them the $30 on the third or whatever it is they want, and you could make, and even if it's just a few hundreds of thousands of dollars, it still helps you get to your goal, and I don't think it costs that much to port it over.
I understand, but I think it's time to move on from the subject.
Yeah.
It leads nowhere, I hate to say, and we could talk about how
we're all sad.
Yeah. But no, I don't like big, huge billion-dollar companies doing Kickstarters. But don't. It's dumb. I understand why people think it's cool, but no. I don't want to, like, if Microsoft was like, we're going to kickstart HoloLens, I'd go tell them to go fuck themselves.
Killed.
Yeah.
Well, just not to sort of drag it on, but there is a Microsoft IP that is kickstarted, which is Shadowrun. but Microsoft don't have anything to do with it. Like
right, they lent
licensed
them
it.
the IP.
They licensed it to Harebrained Schemes, and I mean, I obviously don't know the ins and outs of the deal, but you don't see Microsoft being public about it. Like they're not talking about how they're providing assistance and support and stuff. They just say, "We own this IP, but you can use it." And they forbid publishers from getting it. Like that's part of the contract. There's no publishers involved. Like if you want to do it, you can make money on Kickstarter. That's perfectly fine. You can do that, and the campaigns aren't run terribly. It's they're open.
Yeah,
about
they've
it.
done a good job with the Shadowrun campaign. So
Well, it's that time of the show when we switch over to what you've been playing. And as the new way we do this segment, it's one game per person.
one game.
One game. And it's hard to choose this week because I actually played quite a bit of stuff that I want to talk about. But I want to talk about The Long Dark because I did play that. And I was really into it. I don't know if I'd be into it for like 10 hours, but what I played was really fun. I thought my TV was broken when it actually went dark or my console was messed up, and I was like, wow, I don't see shit. Not a damn thing. And I eventually found the stove and put some wood in it and lit it, but even then it was still so dark you could barely see anything in the room, which I thought was really weird since there was a fire going. But, hey. I survived, I think, like 36 hours. Somewhere around there. I didn't pay for it. I just used the game preview for...
Are you going to get it?
I don't know if I'm going to buy it early. I'm going to wait once it comes out. Like, I don't...
They...
I'm sorry. What were you going to say, bro?
Oh, I was just going to say they're adding a story mode, so that might be the time you'd want to try it.
Mm-hmm. No, but I know these games are more safe bets and they are going to come out. I mean, the Long Dark's going to happen. It's not going to just go out of nowhere. But it's one of those like, yeah, this is a really early game. There's not a lot there. It's a lot of fun when you play it. It's a great concept. We've seen a lot of games like this already come out, and I'm interested in it. And I'm glad that I had an hour to mess around with it to see if I like it. But I don't know if I can recommend buying it. I mean, it's one of those things like try it and see if you like it. And if you want to support the developer because you like it enough, then yeah, go ahead and drop some money on it.
It's fairly priced, at least.
Yeah.
It's like $19.99, I think, US. So.
What were you going to say, Steve?
I keep meaning to try it. I mean, the fact that it's like not one of these, the fact that it's a sort of single player survival thing, I've been meaning to. I think it would also be good for me to, keep track of one of these sort of early access games, so I could, write about it regularly. So your comments are quite interesting to me, and I haven't played the trial yet. I've been meaning to, but it does sound. It sounds like a good experiment. It'll either be how to do game preview on a console or how not to do it.
No, I think this is totally how to do it. Having that hour demo makes all the difference. Really
The
does.
demo in Elite Dangerous is not good, though.
No, it's not, because it's like because I tried both, and it's you can only do the BS stuff.
Just the tutorials.
Yeah, the tutorials.
Yeah.
But
and it takes an hour just to do the tutorials, and then you're like, well, what's this game about? I have no clue. So they messed that one up.
There's growing room, yeah, without a doubt. But it would have been nicer if they just said, hey, here's an hour to go fly around.
Right.
But
yeah, I think they need to. I think perhaps they need to do a bit more sort of talking to developers so that. Because the thing is, they're trying to sell that game in that hour. So if you're just spending an hour doing tutorials, people aren't going to buy that. I do think that with something like Elite Dangerous, like if you're interested in it, you're probably going to know what it is and kind of know that it's probably a bit hardcore. But there'll also be a bunch of people that don't. So when they do play this trial and they spend an hour doing tutorials, that's going to put them off. So they need to sort that a bit better.
Yeah, I'd like to see Microsoft have a little more hands-on with those preview games, at least with helping them make a demo for that preview.
all right, Tim, what have you been playing this week?
I actually started playing The Evil Within,
Mhm.
and it has the update with the full screen.
Mhm.
And played the first 2 chapters last night. I've been playing other games, but I was impressed. I like that game. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's running fine. I know that a lot of people said it wasn't running correctly, or I mean, it has a little hitches here and there, but um, it is running good, and I'd recommend it. The update to me, I don't like the borders. I never was a fan of that. So when I heard they updated it, I tried it out and I was impressed. To be honest.
Yeah, especially in that game, because if something is over a ledge and you can't see it because the field of view is completely cut off on the top of the screen, you can't see if there's a monster over
Right.
there, and now you can. So
Yeah, I like it. It's how many. The game is pretty tough too. It's not an easy
it's
game.
pretty long, and yeah, from what I hear, it's pretty hard. Not
Have you-
not super hard, but I've only played the first like few chapters, so
Right.
I streamed like the first 2 chapters, and
Yeah,
then
Vern
I
never
stopped playing.
Yeah.
So
So when they take the borders off, this might sound like a stupid question, but do they stretch the image? Or have they just been removed and you're just seeing stuff
No.
that is actually already there?
The resolution has been changed. First
Yeah.
off, when you can definitely see the resolution change, but there's more aliasing. So what may be happening is they may be no, they're not just taking off the borders, but they are lowering the resolution. So yeah,
they're filling it to the aspect ratio. So
yeah, you're getting the whole aspect ratio. You're getting more information on your screen. It's not like they're just
So they haven't just stretched it.
no, not at all. No, it's not like it's cropping it off and you have even
no,
less.
the game looks excellent. So I can say for Xbox One, it looks excellent.
Yeah, you do lose resolution though. It is lower, and the performance is slightly worse. It's not terrible, but there, like you said, there is a little
There's
hitching.
hitches and
Yeah, there's a little more hitching when you turn the camera around and stuff. But
right.
I mean, it looks more like a launch title when you run it in the full screen mode,
Mhm.
like Dead Rising or Call of Duty. You know.
Right. And I bought I know when I bought I tried Viva Pinata and Cameo or
Oh, you tried some of the backwards compatibility stuff.
yeah, it works very well.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for me.
All right, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
He just said.
I was undoing my mic, so I wasn't paying attention. Thanks
Thanks.
for that, Tim. Steve, what have you been playing? But
I
before
did-
you do that, Steve, I got to do our segment. How are you doing, Vern?
You know, I'm pretty good. I'm feeling relaxed. I had that glass of wine.
Mug of wine.
Yeah, mug of wine. But I made sure it was the same amount as what's in a glass, 6 ounces. So that's what I'm calling it a glass.
Alright, okay.
Yeah. So
All right, cool.
it's got me relaxed though. I'm feeling good. Sitting back.
Yeah, I can see you sitting back in your chair. You look a bit sort of hazed over.
In a good way though.
Maybe feeling like just a little bit tipsy.
Yeah, just enough.
Good.
All right, Steve. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but we just had to get that segment in. You know,
It's okay. Vern can be a bit high maintenance, so I understand.
Oh, whatever.
Ah.
Not as high as our Brit.
yeah.
I mean, you.
How far was I in The Witcher last week? Because if I'd almost finished it, then I won't talk about it.
Can we talk about one thing? You are the only person on this show that doesn't have a camera on them right now.
It's because
Yeah,
he's
but-
nude. We already discussed this.
We've been through this. Do you want to see me? I'm not going to say that, but it's not something that you need to see. I appreciate my sort of freedom and my spatial awareness.
It's birthday every day for Steve.
Exactly, birthday every day.
Okay.
So yeah, Dustin, how far was I on The Witcher? When did I complete it? Monday.
I
Okay.
think so.
I tell you what, we'll talk about it another time. Okay, I finished The Witcher. It was fantastic. It's
Well, no,
like-
let's just throw it
yeah.
out there. We are going to do a Witcher spoiler show well, at the end of some show, and
Okay.
probably next week. Maybe somebody else
Okay.
will finish and we'll talk about it with us. But I know
Okay,
you
that's fine.
have plenty
I
to
won't
talk
talk
about, and I have ton to talk about.
Okay, that's fine. I won't talk about it then. So apart from that, I've been winning down. So then went pretty much straight on to Batman, Arkham Knight, which is. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the Batman Arkham games. I don't dislike them, otherwise I wouldn't keep playing them. But I mean, it's good. I've seen a lot of people complaining about the Batmobile, which I mean, it's okay. I don't think in sort of the regular mode, when you're sort of driving it normally, I don't think it handles too well. It seems a bit sort of awkwardly loose, but sort of stiff at the same time. If that makes sense, like it doesn't feel like there's any precision. But then when you're in
That's
battle
what he
mode, it's
said?
like. Pun, sorry?
Huh?
Did you say something?
I just said that's what he said. That's all.
Oh, okay. But then when you're in battle mode, obviously it's too precise and you haven't got any speed. But I mean, it seems quite fine. I like the. I don't know. It seems very different in tone. Like I feel like it's definitely the Dark Knight Rises was to Batman Begins and the Dark Knight. Like you could have, if you'd had the Dark Knight Rises and Arkham Knight as separate things to the others, you could have done a different trilogy and then made this still, because obviously they've sort of they both went much bigger, but they also changed the tone a lot and changed how you kind of play and what happened in them a lot. And I felt it was sort of a very similar thing to how Nolan did the third film. But I mean, it's good. I think I'm about 25% of the way through. I haven't done too much of the side
It's really
stuff.
not that long for the main mission, right? It's like 14
Yeah.
15 hours or something. It's not
Yeah, so
super
I mean,
long. So
yeah, I mean, I liked how they they detailed the XP system a bit more, and there's all the sort of AR challenges, and I mean the grapnel hook seems much better. It sort of flings you off buildings, and some of the upgrades are quite cool, and I do like some of the upgrades from the Batmobile,
right.
like when you can sort of do like the special eject and that sort of thing. So it seems very good so far, and it runs well. It looks really nice. I like the sort of height that they've managed to get onto Gotham. So you can sort of glide around and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'll keep playing it. I'll probably finish it.
How's the presentation, like the voice acting and cutscenes and all that stuff? What do you think?
It's, as I said, it is definitely a notch above what they did before. Like I felt
Mm-hmm.
like Arkham City at the time was obviously it was a much bigger version, I think, of what they wanted to do, and I feel like this is really how they wanted to do it, and it does
Right.
feel very AAA. It does still. I've seen people deny it, but it does still look like an Unreal Engine 3 game. Like it has.
I
that
think so too. It has that chunky look.
Yeah, that there's sort of like a strange sort of dark gloss to the textures.
Mhm.
See what I mean? But it does feel. It feels like it has evolved from Arkham City, which I only played it sort of a month or so ago. It did feel like a step up. So it's good. I mean, I did notice like some of the character designs have changed a lot. Like, so I don't think Commissioner Gordon was too much in the second one, but if you look at him in the first one and this one, like it's like completely different, and there's
Mhm.
different voice actors and it's it's changed a lot. So, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But as I said, it does feel like it is a good evolution of how they've got to the game that they wanted to make. It's like they've finally got the budget that they wanted, and I think it does show in everything. So it's a pretty dark game as well in terms of the story, but I wouldn't
Mhm.
spoil anything.
Kotaku will.
Yeah, they'll give you the ending right off the bat. Vern, what have you been playing?
I'm going to talk about Far Cry 4.
Yeah, tell me all
Got a
about
long time ago, and I just haven't really sat down with it. I played like the first hour of it and just put it down. And 2 nights ago, I was bored. I'm like, oh, I'm going to play it. And then about 4 hours later, I was still playing it and having a blast. I had played a little bit of 3, so I had an idea of what I was going to play, but I didn't realize how much customization and all the crafting stuff that's in it. It's really fun. Like I like the idea of, I have to upgrade my bag. Well, let's go kill this animal, or I have to get more ammo. Let's go hunt down this animal. Or it makes it have all these like little mini goals to where you don't feel like you're overwhelmed within this giant open world. So I really enjoyed the game design of that part of it so far. It does seem like if you played 3, 4 is the same, but I haven't played a lot of 3, so it feels new to me. And the gunplay feels good. I like all the weapons so far. Bow and arrow feels awesome. Voice acting is good. The missions have been really fun. I like the driving. I like that you can switch the driving controls to using the triggers if you want, instead of having to press up, or whatever on the left analog. So it seems like it's got everything covered. Like it's just a well designed, well put together, expensive feeling game, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I'm probably going to put a lot of time into it tomorrow. So
It's for Ubisoft. It was a surprisingly competent release, I think.
Yeah. It looks really good.
It does.
Looks really good.
It's fantastic, and I loved it. I really, really did. In terms of the missions, there were a couple of like the Shangri-La stuff. I don't know if you've done it.
I haven't.
I hated it. Oh God, I just hated it. You might like it, but the thing about playing 3 was that I wanted. It is more of 3, but it is the story is a lot better than 3, and there are some nice sort of upgrades like to do with all the animals and that sort of thing. So it's good. You should try it on co-op if you can find someone to play it with.
Well, the co-op, you can't do the single player stuff. You have to do like just all the regular open world stuff that has nothing to do with the main story missions, right?
Yeah, it is a bit weird because you can't just invite someone in and you go around trekking. What you have to do is you have to start an online game,
right?
But load yourself in. And then as soon as someone quits, it will kick you out and you have to go back. It's a horrendous way of doing it, but it is great. It is great in co-op. I remember me and a friend of mine, who I believe is listening to the show now, we just used to say, right, we want to go and find all the stuff to upgrade to like the bag and all that other stuff. So we just spent hours just hunting around, shooting stuff with bow and arrows.
That's the stuff that was really fun. I was surprised with.
Yeah. So I'd it's just a complete blast. And all the missions are good and the story is quite good.
Stefan here is saying that the story wasn't, that he liked 3's better, but I've heard the first half of 3 is good and then the second half is bad. So
yeah, I mean, are you going to play Far Cry 3? Can I kind of spoil it a little bit?
Well, the main villain, I know he dies in the first half.
So the first half is really good, but then once Vast dies,
and
it's like the other villain who sort of takes over from him isn't as charismatic.
I heard it goes downhill,
So, but the thing is, I still enjoyed it. Like I didn't have a problem with it. The missions were still good. But I think this had a much better story of the bad guy is I can't remember his name now, but the guy in the pink suit, and it's like you kind of see that story through, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was much better on that front. So it's an easy 1,000 achievements, by the way.
Good game so far. I'm excited to play it some more tomorrow. I'll probably play it all day tomorrow. So.
All right.
That's my one game.
That's the one game. That's how we do it because we're past the 2-hour mark.
So everyone needs to see my video I got of Elder Scrolls Online where Maria is leading the way on her horse and jumps into the lava. It's really, really good. So if you follow me, my activity feed on Xbox Live, check it out. What did I name it? I forgot. A Leap of Faith. Check it out. It's good.
Awesome
it's good.
video.
Good video.
There was some leap. Right all? No, I'm not going to spoil it. Check it out. All right, we've come to the end of the show. I appreciate everybody for tuning in this week. You've been amazing. Thank you so much, One Saint, again for that awesome intro.
Yes.
I appreciate all the hard work you've put into that. I appreciate everybody for I appreciate all the panelists for coming on today. Thank you so much, Tim, Steve, and Vern. You were awesome for being here and on time. Mr. Punctual, Tim himself, was here right on time, without a doubt.
Always.
Ready to go. That New York time. It's just how it's how it goes, people. And I'm not. It's not sarcasm. I'm telling you.
Not at all. We love you, Tim.
But please follow, subscribe. You can check out our YouTube channel. We do. That's right.
You do.
We do other.
We do everywhere.
We do other shows throughout the week. Tomorrow we are going to be doing Relapse Friday again. Actually, we started. Just to throw it out there, we started a brand new show on the YouTube/Twitch channel. It's an all new thing, completely different. It's called The Fuzz. That's right.
I don't know if she's gonna be doing it again anytime soon. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be something. Maria Vern's wife is going to do Mass Effects as if she's going through a period. So it's going to be an awesome show. Episode's one up, or episode 1 is up. It is still on the Twitch channel, but if you haven't seen it there, we do have a playlist on YouTube for you to check out. It was honestly, it was really funny. Like,
yeah, it
was
was
sitting there watching and laughing, and it was just her. Like there was nobody else on mic with her or anything. She did an awesome job. But I hate to say, it's not going to be something we do like every week or something like that. We're not sure because
it's just whenever she's available to do it. Yeah,
she has to work, people.
Yeah,
she's not one of us Twitch streamers.
She's been working hard.
Yeah, so but that's something for everybody to look forward to. We also have Relapse Friday, which is tomorrow, which I think I'm going to hook up my original Xbox and play something off of that just to have some fun with it. I'm not sure yet. I got a huge thing of games that I can pull up. We also have Let's Play Monday coming up, and I think I'm going to actually play more of The Wolf Among Us because I played it for like 5 minutes and I just got hooked again, and I want to play through it again. So that's going to happen, and just that's how it's going to be. I have to play it. Twisted Tuesdays on Tuesday. And, you have Xbox Live, so you got your 4 shows a week. So please follow us. And give us feedback. Write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. And yell at Vern. Just yell at him. That's what I do. I yell at Tim when he doesn't mute his mic and I hear him typing away.
Yeah, just typing away. Tap.
I thought the show was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I gotta get this up.
You already turned off.
All right. Well, everybody, peace out. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you later.
Later.
See ya.
This would work better if I had volume on this. There it goes. Now we can talk to this. People are already quitting out of... Oh, it's just messed up. You messed up on my photos.
Bye-bye!
Tim dropped out. Or no, Tim stopped
I'm
his
here.
video.
I gotta.
It's like, turn that video off!
Alright, see y'all later.